Randy,
All right, I'm Justin.
and we are going to be doing our final Google Hangout. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is Paper Li, and pretty much what it is, it's an online database of articles, blog posts, and other media content. And what you can do with it is you can actually take everything and customize it into your own personal page, so that way you can go back and retrieve items and you can share it with your friends and they can go on and look at things. So it can be used educationally, or it can just be used for fun. You can share fun YouTube videos and blog posts and like Tumblr pages. And it's neat though because it has there's about 25 million articles on there that you can use, and it makes it just a lot easier to share content with people. So I thought, in a classroom, this would be really great to use as something for maybe a project or just a way to collect information. I know as a teacher, it would be really useful for your students to be able to go in and have everything that they need that is important all on one page and not on multiple pages. So the students could definitely do that. They could also use do a research project, and instead of turning in like an annotated bibliography or something, that could be their bibliography, and they can go in and actually keep an tracked list of everything that they have and send that into the teacher.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea to have all of those um, tools to use for the class. And I think that would really work um, a lot. Let me see. So, do you get to share like homework or anything like that?
Yeah, you can share homework. You could also trying to think of what else you could do. You could share quizzes instead, and you can share
Oh,
with other teachers could actually share it too instead of just the student sharing.
oh yeah, I think that would be really good because um, if you can share homework with the students and it gets them on the computer and they're looking at it and trying to see what it is, and it's more engaging than just giving them a worksheet. So if they have an article that they can go and look online, and you have all these databases and things that you can go, it's sort of right at your fingertips that you can find them quickly and more easily from year to year, because most teachers do use a lot of the same stuff from year to year, and if it's all in one spot, they'll be able to find it a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that they can go back and use different ways, and you can share with other teachers too. And that way, like especially now, team teaching is a very big aspect in schools. So
Hmm.
instead of teachers going through and printing everything out, handing it to their teacher, they can just shoot them an email with a link, and they're all set.
Yeah, that would be good. And I know Lessman teacher, she's really really nice, but she's not got, like, I guess, the best organization skills probably, but she's got a lot of stuff she works on and does. But I think if she had this, it would be a way to organize more of the worksheets she has and everything that she uses for the classroom. So I think that would be a really good way to use the program as well.
Yeah, definitely. I know in my placement, my teacher is pretty organized. She's great, but I think that the kids could be able to use this. Maybe they're in first grade, so it might be something that they couldn't use until they were older. But they could definitely use it for something like a research project or something like that, and a way to just keep them interested in the topic rather than just pencil and paper stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I think that would be a good way to use this program as well. Um, you all finished with yours?
Yeah. What's your what do you
Okay.
got?
Well, I have one called eMaze, and basically it's a presentation software, and it's similar to PowerPoint, but it's a little bit more innovative and different and a little bit probably easier to use than Prezi, because I know Prezi I've used before, and it's really confusing in a lot of ways for me at least. But you can select and browse any of their already professionally designed free presentation templates, and basically it provides the audience with the state of the art HTML5 presentations maker that can create slideshows, videos, and even 3D viewing of the presentations. And so it did go into, like, why would you choose this over PowerPoint? And they listed a few reasons: is that it's easy to use, which PowerPoint is still pretty easy to use, I think, with the already made templates. It's cloud-based, which means you can access it anywhere online. The automatic translation tool allows you to share presentations with the entire world using the translation tool. The multi-device access is a place where you can view, edit on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. So it basically can be edited anywhere that you have a smartphone. Um, and HTML5 basically it just runs the fastest browser and the nicest browser for you to use and when you're presenting information, so it can make it more innovative and more design based, and just the cutting edge designs being the 3D template. And so I just thought, a critical use for this would be just presenting new info or having students become more engaged than over the traditional um, students' PowerPoint presentations that they see. So I think they would be more, if a teacher was to create from emails, they would be able to see those PowerPoints, and it would make them want to learn the information more because it was 3D, it was more fun. It wasn't just like a PowerPoint that they've seen before. They always see it something different.
Yeah, definitely. That would be really cool. So with like a critical insight or a critical use, do you think that students would be able to use it too to create their own projects? Like say if they wanted to do a science project on like or a math project on a 3D figure, could they do a math project like that?
Yeah, they could do it. They could do a math project. They can do a lot of different things, and the teacher can create it, and the students can create it too.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I know in my placement, it's hard because they don't really have a lot of computer access where I'm at. But, the students do love working on the iPads and the computers, and I know that they would really find it interesting and, more fun just to be able to go through and be creative and do their own thing rather than have, like a paper and pencil and just kind of sit down and something that's, make something that could be very boring, very fun, very easily.
Yeah, I definitely think so. That'd be a good way to use it. I've never seen it used in my placement for the critical insight, but my teacher could definitely use it because she does do a lot of PowerPoint slides. So I think if she were, and she had told me, that she tried using Prezi but didn't like it as much. But I think this type of software, which I never heard of or knew anything about, would be something that maybe she could try because it would be different than the PowerPoint slides, but maybe she would be able to use it better and it would be more fun for the kids to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So another one that I was going to talk about is Spritz. So pretty much what it is you go in and you can highlight text and then it pops up in another box on the screen, and you can change the words. You hit play, and the words single out and pop up on the screen, and you can change the words per minute. So you can have it pop. The words can come up quickly or they can come up slowly. That goes from I think it's a 250. Here we go. 200 to 450 words per minute. So if it's on 200, it's going to move a lot slower, but if you're reading 450 words per minute, it's going to kind of pop up very quickly on the screen. And so what it is you can just go in and you just highlight a part on the text, a part of a text. Like on their options, they use it on Wikipedia and like CNN, news websites mostly. And you can go in and the words come up and they're just singled out on the screen. It's not a big paragraph. So it would be really great. I know in a way that, students could use it is they could actually practice, if they want to read faster for speed reading and making sure they comprehend it. So I know with some of the exams and things and tests that are around now, it's harder for kids to read because, if you have a timed test and there's a 400-word paragraph that they have to read, if they're a slow reader, that affects their time on the test and it makes it harder for them to answer questions. So you could use it as like a speed reading practice, and they could just take any paragraph that they want and just single it in, and then afterwards a teacher could come over and test their comprehension on that paragraph and kind of help them out and give them a better chance to do better on an exam.
Oh yeah, I think that would be a really good way to use the program. So it just shows like the word and just up on the screen individually, each one word at a time. Is that what you were saying? It is.
Yeah. So like if you highlight it, if you highlight a paragraph, a single word will pop up at a time. So it would say like, if you said like a man is here, like it would be a and then man and then is and here, and it wouldn't pop up in a long sentence because that could especially if you're reading on a computer, it can everything get jumbled together.
Yeah, I think it would be a really good use for like a person who struggles reading because there's a lot of students who get, if you have this huge paragraph, they sort of get I guess taken down by how many words they see. And so I think if you spread them out word by word, show them the things, they can more easily understand it and comprehend it and say it versus having to look. And even myself, when I'm reading, it's like sometimes I'll have to make sure I always have my finger on the line that I'm at because I'll read the wrong line or I'll read the line over twice. And I think if you were able to see each word one by one, you'd be able to quickly understand it better and have it would be easier for a struggling reader, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I know in my placement, it said it does work on phones and tablets. And
Okay.
with the kids that I have at my placement, they're in first grade, so a lot of them are not the greatest readers. I mean, probably about 75% of the class is at a low reading level. So, and that's just because of their age and their maturity.
Yeah.
So that would be really great for them because if they're on, RAS kids programs like that read to you, but if they're on anything else, it doesn't. And so the kids will be able to actually single in the words and take their time and sound everything out rather than just speed through and not actually understand what they're doing.
Yeah, that's really good. I know my placement teacher and the students that are in there, they love reading, but they do sometimes make like careless errors when they're reading, and so sometimes they completely miss like a subject or something, a theme in the story because they just like they didn't read it correctly when they first were reading it. And so I think if they had this type of program that slowed it down and instead of trying to get through the book so fast, sort of broke it down to them, I think it would be a good way to use it. And I think it would probably be a good way to do like maybe running records and stuff like that, because then you could really see if they understood the word and how fast they were doing it and if they pronounced that one individual word correctly or
Yeah,
not.
definitely.
So maybe it would be a good way to make those less paperwork driven and more technology driven.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you have another one that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. It's called Electron Inks. I think Electron Inks or something like that. And basically, it's a roller ball pen that instantly draws circuits. So it turns science learning of circuits into this completely more engaging activity where students can design and make things with these different designs. And so the ink dries almost instantly, unlike others that are out there, and it works on paper. And so the magnet component can snap right into those circuits that you create on the paper. There's no gluing, there's no soldering needed, and it basically allows for the electricity and the light to go through and cause like a light to go off or a design or make things light up. And so it's really cool. So the possibilities can be endless. It can create a birthday card that lights up with the candles when they're when you hit a button or when you put the circuit on. And there's all these different designs. It has like this robot thing that some students have created with it, and it's just a really cool tool that I can't imagine. Really, I couldn't imagine using it because I can't imagine there's something so innovative out there that you can literally draw and make it create this thing that allows you to manipulate and work with different types of electricity and things like that comes through with the circuits.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds really interesting. You were saying that they could do it with like a birthday card or something.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like kids could actually use that too in like an art class. Like do a big poster board, and then they could use that pen, and they could have like lights up in the corners, and they could draw something that lights up, like a person, or like you said, a light bulb or something like that. That would definitely be something that would be really cool, and definitely a way for kids to, and it would be a good like thematic way to integrate different subjects all together.
Yeah, I mean the designs that they showed on the website were really, really good. Like they were, and it made sense that they lit up. They didn't have to color, the drawing yellow or something. It actually lit up, so it was really cool. And I think it would make teaching about circuits more fun too. So maybe not necessarily for younger kids, but it could be on like the art level. But if you're talking about circuits and things like that, and maybe a middle school education classroom, it could make it more innovative and more fun. I know for a critical insight, when I was in middle school, learning about circuits was not any fun. You just basically had a battery and you attached it to this black cord and it ran through, and then the light would go through, and sometimes it wouldn't, and you press it on and see if things were good insulators or not good insulators. But it wasn't anything that was really innovative or fun. And with this, you could actually get to design and create something that would make you want to learn about circuits.
Yeah, definitely. I know when I was a kid, science wasn't really my best subject. So that would have been something that would have been much more interesting rather than just sitting there plugging something in and seeing if it worked.
Yeah.
I know that too, like at my placement now, the kids are in first grade, so they really don't do much with science. Science and social studies are kind of integrated
Mm.
together into like a 30-minute block every other day, sort of sometimes.
Yeah.
So this would definitely be something that they could, they could use, and it's something that's interesting, and it would get them all moving, and everybody excited, rather than just sitting there and being like, okay, so this is how this works, and the teacher demonstrates, and then that's all that happens.
Yeah, yeah. I think that would be a really good way to use it too. Did you have a last tool to talk
Yeah.
about? Okay.
So another tool that I had was the Web 2.0, and what it is, it's actually made from the Discovery Channel.
Oh, okay.
So what it is the kids can go in, and it's actually an online app for creative information. Pretty much, it's like a collection of different tools. So there's got presentation tools, video tools, mobile tools, community tools, and then related links. And it's just like online. It's just like a collection. It's sort of like a database of collection of links that you can use. So for if you go into presentation tools like Prezi and SlideShare and PixViewer are on there. So it's just a way for teachers, it's better for teachers or for students doing a project, and they can go in and they can actually look at instead of, oh, I'm going to use PowerPoint or Google Slides, they can go on here and be like, oh, I can use SlideShare, and they can click on that and do something different.
Oh, okay. All right. And so you said they could do like blogging and stuff too. Like they have websites already in there for
Yeah,
blogging and cell phones at using cell phones to learn.
yeah. If you go into the part where it says like, if you go like to mobile tools, there's real surveys, there's blogs, there's like a free conference calling part. So
Oh,
definitely stuff like that.
well, that's really cool because I think if when you're blogging and you can turn that into sort of like a quiz type thing, or with your cell phone, you definitely could do something that's right or wrong, and really get assessment and have it be something that they get to use at home or in school. And I think that would be good. For critical use, teachers need that all the time because I just can't imagine all the paperwork and everything that you have to have when you're a teacher, and you need to have a place where you can have all this already organized for you. And especially if it's already put in there, you don't even have to really worry about finding any of the stuff. It's sort of just right at your fingertips. You can just click it and get to the information. So it'll be a really good tool for teachers to use too.
Yeah, definitely. I know in my classroom, in my placement, my teacher, she tries to use her smartboard as much as she can because the kids enjoy it. And so this would just kind of be another way, there are smartboard links and creative links on here. So it's just another resource that she could use to go through and try to find something new to use and, keep the kids moving and interesting and motivated.
Yeah, I think, in my placements, that's always a struggle. I think it's with almost every, teacher. You've got to try and get them engaged and wanting to learn and wanting to understand certain topics that might not be always a good thing. But, with the cell phones that they have, I think that would be a good critical insight to talk about because they've been, my placements, they've been using like cell phones all the time. They've had instances where they're in their desk and they're in their book bags and they always want to be on their cell phone if they have one and texting and doing like that. And I couldn't believe in a fourth grade class, they were having that problem. But if there was a way to find tools that had cell phones incorporated in the curriculum, it would really make a difference because I think they would want to do it more because it would have them just being on their cell phone and that's what they love to do.
Yeah, definitely. I know in my classroom we use iPads a lot.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's another way for, the kids to be able to go on and do something different with the iPad rather than just play games.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, cool. So I think we've covered all 20 topics.
Yes, I think we're finally done. Yep.
Awesome. Well, all right, sounds good. See
All
you.
right. Good job. See ya.